78 seems reasonable overall, right? Right? Yeah, I got some good reviews here. Cute panda. Okay, we're getting a little lower than I'd expect. Oh my gosh! Hello friends, Adam here with FED. So today, I want to talk about Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn's worst reviews, at least the worst ones that I saw on the website that is called Metacritic. So here we have it, the Destructoid review for Fire Emblem Dash Radiant Dawn. Written by Lee Alexander. This opening is on another level of bad. I hate tactical games. I hate strategy games. Real-time strategy games, and tactical RPGs. I would rather drive screws into my nostrils with the business end of a power drill and, of course, apply a nail gun to my eyes than play a tactics title. Right from the start, you ask yourself, why is this person reviewing Radiant Dawn? Why is this person reviewing any Fire Emblem title? Why would they review any tactics game or strategy game to begin with? And the answer is their boss told them to. That's what basically. Their boss said you have to. And this writer, this Lee Alexander, really hates this genre. So, and it shows. It shows. And this person is obviously like very wordy. They love words. They probably think themselves quite the writer. Because of that, they talk about the story quite a bit, which makes sense. But it says, in Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, you control a member of the Dawn Brigade, Dawn Brigade, revolutionaries, all that, blah, blah, blah. And it says about the villains, these guys are cartoonishly, insanely unjust. You know, the type of guys who run their own soldiers through for incompetence and then retreat to their own private shadow patch to cackle ominously to themselves. I can see how you might think some of the early, no, not even, maybe the very first boss in the game, and maybe Jared a little bit in part 1, but I don't see this. I feel like the enemies and bosses in this game are generally pretty, normal. He's really looking at one or two examples and being like, oh, they're horribly cartoonishly insane, which is, I feel like, is a bit disingenuous for the rest of the game. I think Jared even is a little more nuanced than that, in that, yeah, he is a really cruel, overseer. I don't want to say ruler, because he doesn't really rule the area, but definitely a cruel occupier, I guess. Being the general of the occupation force. But even he has some good character moments with, the guy who, his, subordinate that sacrifices himself for him, and in trying to inspire his men to defend the capital. I don't think Jared is as bad as people, as this guy gives credit for. Later in that same paragraph, he says the good guys are led by a rather pretty magic user, Micaiah. Rather pretty magic user. And that's basically all they say about Micaiah, which is a rather pretty magic user. And then later has the gall to say the plot is derivative and the characters are two-dimensional. And they say that's an understatement. To say that Micaiah is two-dimensional it's odd to me. It's really odd to me. And to say that, this review comes across as incredibly surface level to begin with, because it's obviously someone who doesn't like the genre and doesn't know how to talk about it. But to say that, oh, Micaiah's pretty, and then to say, oh, she's two-dimensional as well, this seems like they didn't really take the time to read and get to know the characters. That's what it feels like. And I'll even agree to some extent, you have characters like Leonardo, Edward, Nolan, who don't get as much screen time, that do feel a little two-dimensional, especially since they don't have the backstory from Path of Radiance that a lot of the other characters who don't get as much screen time do have, right? But to say that all the characters are two-dimensional, aside from those first few, this just seems like a bad take to me. Seems like a bad take. I think Micaiah has a lot going for her, and if you haven't played Radiant Dawn, she definitely does. And I think this is might be evidence that this person only played part 1, or maybe some of part 1 of Radiant Dawn, rather than playing the entire game, and then decided just to write a review because they hated the game so much. That's kind of how the whole review comes across. It continues here. says it feels precisely like every other young anime revolutionaries take on cruel government masters game you've ever played. I'm talking about the story in the game, right? And again, I feel like that's just part one. That feels like it's just part one, you know? I don't think that the whole game is really deserves that claim. And even part one has more to it than young anime revolutionaries take on cruel government master. There's themes of racism and like interesting themes of like your station at birth and like how your lineage determines does it determine who you are and what you become. I don't know. I think there's more to it than what this person is giving credit for. And then, you know, they talk about some of the more basic gameplay things that everyone talks about when it comes to Fire Emblem reviews for like casual stuff. Like, oh, permadeath. Oh, I hate permadeath. Permadeath makes me sad. Oh, I spent so long building this unit. And this is actually a pretty funny line. Losing your new favorite frontline superstar who you've been grooming. Weird term to use there. In our current day and age, current context. And leveling meticulously for ages in one cheap coup de grace is about as philosophically inspiring as a stick in the eye. Who goes to video game gameplay? Because that's what they're talking about. They're talking about permadeath and like gameplay, right? Who goes to video game gameplay to be philosophically inspired? Who goes to anything and says, oh, I would like to be philosophically inspired today? That's such a weird term, philosophically inspiring. I understand being inspired, and I understand that he's probably trying to say, like, make me contemplate my own finite lifespan and mortality and stuff like that, philosophically inspired, because permadeath, you know, I get it. It's just really weird and seems out of place here. And it really just feels like someone trying to sound smarter than they actually are. You know, maybe that's how I come across too, though. Maybe I'm a dummy. And then of course, in any Wii game review, you have to make jokes about throwing your remote at the TV because the game made you angry. Haha, funny. More over-the-top, robust verbiage. It does not mean a whole lot. Reset. Haha, funny. This is, of course, a tactical game, and let me stress again that I hate the genre. Why are you reviewing this freaking game then? Makes me like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. And you might be tempted to pick it up because it looks RPG beautiful. RPG beautiful. What does that even, is that to say like an RPG is a lesser form of game than others? You know, it's like, oh, you throw good for a girl. You know, like that kind of thing to say, like kind of messed up stuff to say, or like, oh, you are really pretty, or oh wow, you're handsome for your age, you know, or you're in great shape for your age, or you're really smart for your age. It's like really like condescending backhanded compliments because it looks RPG beautiful instead of saying like, oh, it looks good. The tons of good looking characters and all this and whatever stuff. It's like, oh, whatever. It just, he's essentially saying even though it looks good, it's bad, is what they're saying. The game is pretty, the music is listenable, and all the girls are hot. All the girls are hot. The more I read this, the more I think this guy's just like a total dude bro who likes Call of Duty and Halo and he just plays that with his buddies all day. You know what I mean? All right, let's read. I love this too. But here's the thing I don't get, and this is the reason why even those master strategists who love hardcore tactical challenge might want to avoid this title. It's like barely even a Wii title. It doesn't make use of any Wii functionality at all, except for the fact that you can point at menus, which you can't. And that's kind of annoying in this context, just pointing away, stabbing at menus all day. You literally can't. It's so dumb. There is no pointing or motion control in Radiant Dawn. Literally zero. And I think it says you don't use the nunchuck. Can you use the nunchuck? I thought you could if you wanted it as like a different control scheme. But like you literally, like, that's just blatantly wrong. about the game. But I love how this is the reason why those master strategists who love hardcore tactical challenge might want to avoid this title. Because it's barely a Wii game. If anything, someone who really likes RPGs and tactics and stuff like that, those kind of games, they would appreciate the lack of motion controls in Radiant Dawn. That is the worst take ever. Oh, it doesn't have Wii stuff in it. Doesn't make you waggle your remote. Again, reads like someone who, you know, they played Mario, maybe Zelda or something, and call themselves gamers, and they're proud of it, you know, and they're like, they liked the waggling in Twilight Princess. This guy probably gave Skyward Sword a 10 out of 10, right? You know, it's like, ooh, I love waggling my Wiimote. So much fun. It's just horrible takes here. Bad takes. I just think it's hilarious. Finally, let's just read the conclusion. All in all, it's, as in Radiant Dawn, kind of a crummy package, I think, but I have the sneaking suspicion fans of the Fire Emblem series, or those who love a real tactics challenge, might adore it. The plot's weak, the characters blab on too much, and the whole deal's very last gen, but for the truly dedicated, it's playable, I guess. Rent it if you're a tactical geek, everyone else should forget it. That's pretty strong words for someone who only played like a fourth of the game. This review is hilarious. It is so gosh darn funny. I love it. This is probably one of my favorite game reviews I've read recently. So good. So good. Well, that's one bad review for Radiant Dawn discussed. If you have any other funny reviews you think I should check out for the Fire Emblem series, let me know. I'll definitely do more of this if you guys like it. I enjoyed reading through it. But make sure to like the video, subscribe for more content like this, and of course, comment your thoughts. Comment your thoughts, what'd you think? And I'll catch you next time, friends.